Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Sun presentation of Star Ladder. Here we've got a match between Digital Chaos and the Elite Wolves. Here, a best of three in the Americas division for the tournament. So, looking forward to see what these two teams bring to the table. We've got a lot of North Americans going up against the Peruvian squad, and I mean, we've seen good success from both sides. Elite Wolves have been on a bit of a tear. They've fallen off most recently, like a little bit this week, but throughout the past couple of months, they've actually been one of the top teams to look for in the American scene in general, sans of course EG. So looking forward to see what Aoi is going to bring to the draft against them, and we'll see how this best of three proceeds. I am Blaze, and let's get into the draft. If the overlay allows. There we go. Alright, so we are into the draft now, into first phase. We saw the Lich, the Queen of Pain, get banned out here from Digital Chaos. It looks like Van wanted to take out the Doom and the Tusk, so kind of a variety here. But you'll see a pretty active opener in the Shadow Fiend first pick, responded to by the Ember Mirana. And this is pretty interesting to see the Mirana picked up by the Elite Wolves. I'll go ahead and look if that's a hero that they ever draft, but it's not common in the scene in general, so I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. Probably a support Mirana, I think is probably the best way to run her. Offlane isn't the worst, but yeah, they actually have drafted it 3 times. So 3 times in the last like couple of weeks here. The team hasn't been under this name for very long, so yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see what this pick brings to the table as far as their overall aggression levels. I think you're going to be looking for a lot more fast-paced skirmishing type engagements where they just look for those easy arrows into easy kills. I mean, if you get the Searing Chains, you should, at level 2 or above, you should be able to guarantee an arrow, at least at medium range. And from there, you have kills in your hands, you have a lot more opportunities to push objectives, and yeah, I think this is kind of a good tempo pick. Along with that, a lot of teams these days are kind of forgetting about the strength of Moonlight Shadow. You have to have an Observer Center War combo to predict that movement, or you're going to be in for some trouble. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they move with the Mirana Ultimate, as well as, of course, those sick Sacred Arrows. We're going to go into phase 2 here. Slardar, Shadow Fiend, it looks like a negative armor strat from DC, so expect a Dazzle ban here from the Elite Wolves. Maybe a Winter Wyvern is really good against Ember, so yeah, banning out the Dazzle for sure, because that Weave and as well as the Shallow Grave allows you to go for really glass cannon physical damage dealers. And I think a Wyvern ban is still worth it, because the Wyvern is a really good counter to the Ember Spirit. Obviously the ultimate, the Winter's Curse, can lock him in place and you can kill him easily within that duration. Whereas with like a Slardar, even if he has a Blink Dagger, there's still a chance the Ember Spirit has fast enough reflexes to get out of that one. So I think Smash has been playing the Ember Spirit for the Elite Wolves most recently, but obviously that either can be played in the mid lane or the safe lane. Has a little bit of versatility there. Undying ban, just one of those kind of death ball-y aspects. I talked about taking objectives, and once you get a kill with Mirana, you want to follow that up with something. You put a tombstone under tower, and you pretty much have that tower under wraps. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with their current heroes. But banning out the Darkseer, the Undying, it looks like Aoi wants to focus on taking out offlaners. He's already secured his Slardar. Banning out the offlaners here, it just makes it more difficult for the Elite Wolves to find their opening. Might still go for something like a Beastmaster. I think that's pretty strong here. Once the Shadow Fiend picks up BKB, you want a way to control him and to delay that Requiem of Souls in the fights. So I can see Elite Wolves going for a Beastmaster. Clockwork's still decent here as well. But the Darkseer, the Undying won't be the picks. Elite Wolves, do they ban out the Winter Wyvern, or do they look for something a little bit different here? No, they ban out Gyrocopter. Okay, so they're worried about team fight core. Essentially, a Slardar off lane, a Gyro safe lane is what we'd be looking at there. And in that case, yeah, you're getting some value out of the negative armor with the Flat Cannon, but then you also have some really short cooldown abilities where you can just keep fighting very actively. So there's definitely some fear in that pick. I'm not sure if that means that they're going to try to 5-man a lot more on the side of Elite Wolves, but for now, I think it's going to be kind of a precision style from Elite Wolves. They want to just play their lanes smooth, with Mirana being the only wow factor. She's going to be rotating, she's going to be roaming, she's going to try to stay off the map and keep everybody on their toes. And then the other lanes are just going to be kind of resolute solo lanes. With the Queen of Pain banned out, I'm trying to think of what they want to give Van here. Juggernaut's not bad, not great against physical damage, but just the fact that you can turn invulnerable and just do what you need to do is really, really strong. But I'm sure there's better picks against the Slardar, that 1v1 melee matchup, which you might have to kind of keep in play. Like, if you're roaming with the Mirana, you have to sometimes leave your safe laner to fend for himself, and we'll see if they can do just that. Broodmother, very interesting pick coming in for you from the Wolves. Most likely going to be going to the off lane here in the hands of Strange. And the reason this is an interesting pick is because there are still a lot of supports in the pool that can mitigate the effectiveness of the Broodmother. They can't just completely swap lanes and put like a Darkseer safe lane 1v1, which would be the ultimate lane victory against the Brood, but they can still do so much here. They can go for a Legion Commander for their carry, a Bristleback for their carry, or any number of supports that have some good AoE abilities and aren't just poked down so easily by the spiders. So I'm a little bit concerned about the Broodmother pick, to be honest. It's still, as we've seen, a pick that teams can bring to the earlier stages of the draft, and even when it's countered, it still creates space. I'm just not 100% sold that it's going to be the most valuable thing here. I mean, you've already got Mirana Invis, so stacking that up with the Broodmother, you got some problems on your hands, I think. We'll see. If they can really rat it out and spread the map effectively, there's some good potential. Obviously, the Ember Spirit with BOTs takes a huge amount of advantage out of the fact that Broodmother is pushing with her Spiderlings on one lane. He's going to be able to farm up the rest, get a quick Battle Fury, and kind of take the mid to late game. So Broodmother really just trying to act as a space creator, but one catch of the Nightmare, and this is a dead hero for sure. So you have to be very, very careful here.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Tapping into reserve time here. Elite Wolves aren't really certain what to do about this now, since the Bane is one of the better heroes to respond to the Mirana. The defensive Nightmare, whenever somebody gets arrowed, that takes about a good second off of time that you can deal damage to that target as they're invulnerable. And then if you don't have like the Starstorm or another spellcast available, then you just have to sit there, unless you want to put yourself to sleep. It's just a minor effect, but taking even 1 second off the arrow is pretty huge. It's not the same thing as like an Abaddon, which would then of course enable you to take the entire arrow off, but you get the added bonus of having Fiend's Grip. Fiend's Grip is great against Ember Spirit, not too bad against Broodmother, and when your heroes are hitting level 6, DC just get this huge power spike. So they're going to try to disrupt that a little bit with the Night Stalker. Obviously, both having a mini stun and a silence should prevent Bane from getting easy channels off. And of course, now you have a really gank-oriented team. You have the Broodmother for pushing, Ember Spirit for farming, and the Mirana and Night Stalker will be roaming all over the map. But I think the DC are just outdrafting Elite Wolves at this point. With the Bane pickup, which has so many ways of mitigating the effectiveness of Wolves' aggression, and then the Bristleback, which can just soak up all the damage in the world, it's going to be very difficult for Elite Wolves to find the kills they're looking for early. Where this draft on the Radiant side is very well-rounded to build momentum. Digital Chaos just shut it down in the laning phase. They're very unlikely to find any kills unless you get a 4 or 5 second arrow, and that in some ways comes down to luck.
5 seconds remaining.
So we've got everything figured out, but Van's safe lane pickup here, he's one that favors the Slark when he can pick it up, and I think Slark is not too bad this game, in the sense that Slardar is the only AoE stun. But it's I don't know. There's a few different options, and I feel like you want something that isn't too greedy, because you're already taking a lot of the map from the Ember Spirit, but is still able to fight actively in the mid game. You really want something along those lines. So Sven is okay, Slark, Juggernaut, all those melee heroes that come to mind are pretty good. Ranged have some potential too. The Wind Ranger, for example, would have been great against Slardar in the laning phase, as well as they proceed. But they don't have much reserve time, so they're going to have to think about this one on the fly. They've got their Mirana and Mirana and Night Stalker roaming around, Broodmother in the top lane, Ember Spirit in the mid. So they really just need to get some push orientation, some real good physical damage coming out from their final pick, I believe, here.
10 seconds remaining.
Lycan wouldn't be too bad. Wouldn't be ideal either, but I mean, there's a lot of picks that aren't going to be 100% optimal in this situation, and they go for the Slark, just the comfort pick here for Van. This guy actually used to be named Slarky, so he really is into the Slark pick, it's a favorite of his, so yeah, I think it has a lot of great strength, and Bane doesn't do too much to him. You get the Dark Pact off, and suddenly Bane's disables mean nothing to the Slark, other than, I guess, the Enfeeble. So, this should be a pretty interesting game. If the Slark can come online in a good way, I still think there's some good potential. There's some good synergy here with the night vision of the Slark with the Night Stalker. Oftentimes it's going to be in the darkness, and they're just going to have a great vision advantage. Later on, you've got the Gem Aghanim combo on Night Stalker to clear out all the wards. Before that, you have Slark's Shadow Dance, which will actually give you intel of whether or not you are seen when you're moving about the map. So, I'm looking forward. I think that's going to be really strong. That being said, Digital Chaos, they just have really strong lanes, they have great death ball potential, and they seem to have every answer to the Ember Spirit that they could need. Disruptor is great against Ember Spirit, great against Slark, going to be forcing some early BKBs here, and I really do feel like we're going to have to see some really good work coming in from Masoku here on the Mirana. There's definitely value in this pick. They've run it to great effectiveness these past few weeks. I think, like I said, 100% win rate over the past 3 times they've ran it. But that being said, they've got to be on point. If they miss even a handful of arrows here, they're going to be quickly realizing that Digital Chaos just have the better brawling lineup. They can get up in your face very quickly with the Bristleback and the Slardar.
Prepare for battle.
Alrighty, so gonna go through some introductions here. The Elite Wolves here on the Radiant side. It's gonna be Boots first, and it is gonna be Mystico on that Night Stalker. That will leave Masoku here on the Mirana, just pulling full consumables here. The Night Stalker going for Boots first is a bit greedy. It means you don't get Sentry Wards to help out your Broodmother, and of course you do not get anything for your Mirana. But the Night Stalker is going to be more in your face, and probably benefiting more from that ability to naturally regenerate HP. Smash is going to be just doing your kind of standard Ember build here in the mid lane, couple of branches to help out those stats, get more spells out. You've got Van here in the safe lane, actually in a little bit of jeopardy, but it looks like he'll be okay. He's going to be running on the Slark bottom, while of course the Broodmother is setting up her webs on the top lane. Like I said, no Sentry Wards, so there's a good chance that she's going to be killed off once or twice, because she can't use the Quelling Blade or Tango to eat the enemy sentries whenever they're dropped down. Anyways, looking over at Digital Chaos, they're going to have Shadow Fiend here stalking up the rune, and he's going to be picking that up for himself very early on. Of course, that should be Yawar, right? Right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. I haven't guessed these guys recently, so I just don't want to mess that up. But yeah, that's Yawar, aka Da Vinci for now. Getting the immediate healing salve out for the bounty rune he acquires. Aoi 2000 is actually going to be taking the Disruptor to the bottom lane, at least momentarily. And he's going to be dual laning it up with Bulba, who's going to be running the Slardar. Stout Shield and Mango ready to go. Another dual lane is going to be Buruse, at least supporting the Shadow Fiend for the first creep wave or two, it looks like. If he can just give a few Necromastery stacks, a few souls to the Shadow Fiend, that's huge. And actually, he just breaks a smoke straight up, but he doesn't know it! He doesn't have that at normal vision, and so it's going to be this 3v1 play on Buryu, who will have to die for the greater good. He doesn't get the suicide deny, and I guess it's better than losing the Shadow Fiend instantly, but it is still not exactly what you're looking for. And immediately, we see Mystico just going right up in his face. This 2.7 natural HP regen allows him to just go right on top of Yawar and inhibit his early CS, as well as take away a lot of his HP. Up top, this means, with the fact that the Bane got picked off, now we see a very aggressive stance from Van, who has made his way to the top lane to go up against TC, while Strange has rotated bottom. Okay, we're going to see TP here in mid. They're going to see the Nightmare onto Smash, but can they get the raises they need to mess us up? No, it's just for survival, and it will not be to that end. It's going to be Smash to clean up the Shadow Fiend this time around. So 2-0 here. The Shadow Fiend having a really rough start. Just a lot of aggression here on the mid lane. And yeah, Dire just needed an Observer Ward in this area, especially when it turns nighttime. They need as much vision as possible to deal with this Boots First Night Stalker. Now, to talk a little bit about the lane swap here, essentially what the Broodmother did was go to top lane, drop her webs to show that she was planning on setting up there, so the Bristleback goes to the top lane. TC is happy for that matchup. The Quill Spray allows him to deal with the Spiderlings, no problem at all. Then, as soon as they do that, they immediately make their rotations and send the Broodmother bottom and leave the Bristleback, or leave the Slark top to 1v1 the Bristleback, which is actually pretty favorable for the Slark here. So, really good swap coming in from E-Wolves, really just kind of playing some smoke and mirrors against Digital Chaos. And along with the kills, they do have the early game advantage. But the fact that Owie 2000 didn't sit up top, he did come down bottom, he has sentries, he has dust. I think they have a kill here on the Broodmother, we'll see. Could crush, now the kinetic field, and they will be able to right-click him down with the Thunderstrike claiming that last hit. Masoku looking around the jungle, looking for stacks. Obviously the Shadow Fiend wants these built up for him, but Masoku is going to make sure that that's not possible, and Buryu will pretty much have to hug the tower, but the tower may not be a place of safety as they go in for the dive. Double damage, ruin the void, the chains, and the kill. They get it, yet another, and now Masoku has a pretty good line for an arrow on Buryu. I don't think he can Nightmare dodge this in this situation, so he's just going to try to Nightmare the Night Stalker, but he's going to be cleaned up by the rest of them. No neutral to die for you. It's going to be the Masoku with the kill. Now they're leading 4-1 here, only losing the Broodmother once, which is what they expected in the first place. This is really good for the Elite Wolves. Van going to be taking some hits here. He's just working his way to level 6. Once he's at level 6, he has infinite sustainability, and he has really no problem staying on the waves. But for now, he does have a few quill spray stacks, and he did have to Bottle Crow just to keep himself up and at him. Actually, Magic Stick is something he probably should have picked up a while ago, but the bottle is what he prioritized first. Broodmother looking for the Soul Ring. That's not going to be coming soon. If you look at the Mirana's items, this is actually quite funny. Masoku, absolutely nothing here. Going to be going for a nice little arrow here with the Searing Chains. Can TC get another Quill Spray off, though? Doing a lot of damage to Smash, but the arrow lasts so long that Smash can get away. Oh, Buryu does get the Nightmare. The Flame Guard will dissipate, but they are not confident in this exchange. Brain Sap, double raise. No, he's going to get the chains onto 2, and we see Mystico just diving past to go for TC. They aren't going to get the arrow, but they will get the 2 right clicks they need to bring him down. Oh, nice movement here for Mystico. Really great Night Stalker play. Just all around. And in the meantime, Slark gets free farm. He's about to hit level 6. That timing, that gives him pretty much free reign over whatever lane he chooses. And yeah, they are doing so well right now. I mean, just look at the early experience advantage. Right now, 1,000 experience favoring the Elite Wolves. Slark has had a solo lane, Broodmother's had a solo lane, and the rest have just been dominating in terms of kills. Now, this isn't a great Broodmother game, but just keeping the Slardar and the Disruptor in check is fine enough for them for now. They can make their TP top, probably find a kill on the Bristleback, and anytime they try to rotate the Disruptor, the Slardar's going to have trouble. But here's the trouble for TC. Don't even need an arrow to find this kill, but actually, they are worried about that rotation. We'll look bottom, where I was talking about. When the Disruptor leaves, Strange just gets all that more aggressive. Bane actually going to be taking a lot of damage here in mid. It's going to be Smash soloing him up. The dual lane against Smash, and he doesn't care in the slightest. Just goes right on top of him, triple right net for the kill. And there's nothing the Bane can do about it. As naturally tanky as the Bane is, this hero is only level 3 with no real stat items. So yeah, it's a hard knock life for a bottom of the barrel support. Less net worth than the Mirana, who has bought literally every support item in the game. But there's that stack. Maybe they can try to get their comeback through this. If they stack the Ancients, Bristleback can farm it. If they stack the standard jungle, then Shadow Fiend can farm it, though they did not get this stack in particular.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
In the meantime, speaking of farming the jungle, we've got Broodmother here, just building up that army. Now that she has the Soul Ring, she doesn't have to stay to the lane if she doesn't feel comfortable. She can just keep on moving all about. So, obviously, a lot of activity over here in terms of wards, obs, sentries, the whole shebang. And I like how they essentially know that this ward is going to be dewarded, so they go ahead and put up a backup one that's very unlikely to be dewarded. Even a Gem True Sight has trouble seeing this ward. So it's actually going to be impossible for them to deny that vision. The stacks have already been farmed up here for the Shadow Fiend, so yeah, he's getting there. Jawar did not want to be 2,300 net worth at 7 minutes in this game, but it's at least an improvement from what he was looking at before. Dead Out 2000 buys his boots before he goes down, but it doesn't. You blink and you miss that kill. It's just so quick how much damage they can bring to bear against him. Bulba is pretty much the saving grace for Digital Chaos right now. He needs to get that Blink Dagger and come online in a big way. They just need to get in the enemy's face and start fighting them. We're going to see, actually, Yawar in some real trouble here. The Nightmare doesn't do much for him as the Flame Guard immediately removes it. And it looks like Buryu's going to be going down too. Just diving and killing and diving and killing. That's what you do with a Night Stalker. And that's what they will continue to do, as this Tier 1 tower is no longer safe ground, if it ever was. They are just defiling the Dire's territory and taking it for their own. They are running rampant, and I don't know, at this point you look for like a Shadow Blade on the Slark very shortly. He's going Treads, of course, for now. We're going to see Urn on the Night Stalker. But for the 12-minute nighttime, I think we're going to see even more ganking items and even more aggression. There are some downsides to the way they're playing this game, though. The Elite Wolves are underleveled on the Mirana, equal to the Bane, but still underleveled by the standard timing. And that means that she isn't going to be able to contribute more than just one arrow per fight, for the most part. And like I said, Bulba is getting his farm as he needs to, and Yawar is getting at least something from the jungle here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Nice little crush there. Bulba maybe looking for a follow-up here. He has Dust, but it's definitely not worth using the item just to get those creeps. But once they go back on him again, he'll probably crush again. He's got enough mana to work with that he might be able to get a few spider kills here. It is quite annoying, no matter how you look at it, though. Stout Shield, Mango, these are the two items that mitigate the effectiveness of it the most, though. And here we go on mid, popping the drum charge as soon as Smash gets it. He just gets the attack speed boost and claims the tier 1 before there's any potential to rally a response. And you are just camp after camp. This is really his only source of income right here, is this Eastern hard camp for the Dire. They're just biding their time until the 12-minute mark. They know Night Stalker doesn't have Darkness yet, but it's going to come soon. And that means 11:10 is actually the time where Elite Wolves just start running over DC once again. They get a brief reprieve before this Hunter in the Night searches for prey once more. So drums, obviously good all around for Smash. He's going to have lots of mana to play around with. Probably goes for BOTs next, I would presume.
Dire's top tower is under
And
attack.
yeah, I think the Slark goes Shadow Blade this game. I think he just starts running over his opponents. I mean, even I know you have an Invis in terms of Moonlight Shadow and in terms of Broodmother. I know you're up against the Slardar, but just jumping in on top of people with Shadow Blade is so good. And another great tool it has is that whenever you're Shadow Bladed, you can scout out the enemy's sentries as well as their observers, because that Shadow Dance effect still comes into play. We're going to look for a movement down bottom. It looks like they wanted to at least kill off all these spiders here, and the TC will get most of those with the Quill Spray here. One more set. That's a nice batch of CS coming their way, but hardly makes up for how difficult the lanes have been to this point. Up top, this Tier 1 tower falls to the last hit of the Night Stalker. Mystico pretty much takes that down all by himself.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And there's the Blink Dagger. This is the game changer. If DC are coming back at all this game, it really comes down to getting their level 6, getting their ultimates, and getting this Blink Dagger. Well, they've got one of the two. But we'll see the fight break out before. Maybe they're ready for it. Out 2000. I don't think he gets a spell off here. Just dies outright. And Buryu in some trouble too. He's crippled. He's spidered. He's down. TC. Oh, the big crush from Bulba. But can they do anything with it? TC spamming the Quill Spray as much as he can. And there's going to be Yawar to come in and try to punish anybody that sticks around. Smash here doesn't have mana for the Remnant and just goes down while they bottle through the urn and keep TC alive. Losing Smash loses 700 gold, and he buys back as well, going for Yawar. It is going to be the rebuttal kill, but it is at a 60% reduction thanks to that buyback gold penalty. So Ember Spirit maybe shouldn't have last hit that one, but he definitely shouldn't last hit the tower. Don't last hit the tower. Smash. There we go. So gold spread. Look at this with the buyback. The Ember Spirit, who was at the top of the net worth, loses 550 gold. Shadow Fiend, despite dying, gains 440. And so too does Bulba and DC. So just getting those 8 Quill Sprays off, getting the nice crush, and they are able to get some return kills. It doesn't look great because they're still losing towers, they're still losing lives, but any return kills you can get in that case, and even getting the buyback out, that's actually really good for you. And there we go, Shadow Blade complete for Van. 12 minutes, darkness expended, but they are ready to rock and roll now. Look at the Dire Wards. This is actually really telling of DC's current position in the game. This is a ward that the Radiant will put against the Dire, like most games. But you'll never see the Dire place it in their own jungle unless you're terrified of what lurks in the shadows. And in that case, you just have to have it like on the cliff when darkness is active, or in this case right here, just trying to see any kind of movement from the west here. So they are trying to keep things under wraps. They're trying to keep things alive. And it's not going to be enough to keep Dihor alive. He doesn't even have a TP scroll, so there's no hope for him here. He'll Requiem, he'll do some damage. Magic Wand, even trying to bottle through it, but Van, with one more volley of hits, will bring him down. But they do get some reinforcements. Bulba's right on top of the Slark. He used his Shadow Dance, and he may just fall. Oh, no, he jumps away. Finally going down to... Oh, no, the Shadow Blade keeps him in play, and they don't get the dust on him. So in the meantime, Smash is cleaning house, cleans up a total of 4 heroes, and the Slark stays alive. TC will do what he can here. Quill Spray after Quill Spray with his Vanguard active. He will get a kill on the Broodmother, but will be the last to fall here for Digital Chaos. So... yeah, just unfortunately they couldn't finish off the Slark. One more hit and they would have had him, but the Slark barely slips through and gets the Shadow Blade off just in time. That was actually a beautiful play from Van there. So they lose everything. Still the Bristleback profits slightly, but I mean this is just a massive ramp of income coming in for the Elite Wolves. And you're seeing that the Amplify damage and the Dust of Appearance just doesn't do enough to Slark when he has that Dark Pact. Dark Pact, Shadow Blade, gets you out every time. And at this point, DC are got to be have to be very concerned for their well-being. I mean, if Shadow Fiend finds the mechanism, I think they might be able to hold this game. But right now, they die so fast that they just don't have a chance. They really just need to make sure the Disruptor is always in the back, and probably the Bane as well. And then they need to get this mechanism out just to keep people alive. Get Bulba and TC on the front lines. Protect your flank. But this is interesting. We're going to see an attempt to go for Roche very early here, and with the Viscous Nasal Goo, you can break the spell block and just go to town, breaking his armor. He's actually down to -8 armor with this next goo, but Van comes in, scouts it out, pops the blade, and how will they approach? The Spiders get the scout. Owie does not get hit by the arrow. They dodge the arrow, but now they're all inside the Ember Spirit's damage. They just knock him out with AoE magical damage. TC will pick up the Aegis, and Van barely slips out. Oh, Buryu dropping down so low. Just TP, man. There's no hope. Oh, Mystico gets him with the Void and pops the Darkness in their retreat. But TC, with the help of the Sentry Ward, kills off the Brood. Goes for one more. Masoku will leap out, and Van will take down Yawar. So TC, still with rocking the Aegis, is in a fine position here to walk away. But it's definitely not as clear-cut as they wanted it to be. Still profiting of about a 900 gold swing in favor of DC. Van, Bulba, playing around, Blink dodges the pounce, and that will be the getaway car. But man, that got pretty disastrous pretty quickly. I love the fact that they were able to dodge that arrow that went right through the pit there, but that put them all in this tiny circle. So they get hit by a triple Remnant, Flame Guard, the Searing Chain's Sleight of Fist, and then the AoE from the Slark as well, that Dark Pact. So all of them drop down to 20% HP, and they're just fighting for their lives with every little bit of health that they have remaining. All the same, though, they did get the Roche kill, they did get the Aegis, and that gives them something significant, along with that 900 gold swing with the comeback gold. So that gives Bristleback his Crimson Guard. Get Shadowfing ever closer to that mech, only 400 gold away. Oh, they can get this. If they can get the Crimson Guard and the Mechanism in the same fight, they actually have a really good potential to fight 5-on-5. And that puts E-Wolves in a more pick-off type lineup. They'll push with the Brood, and they'll gank with the Night Stalker Slark. Bulba, looking for an opening here. Anybody that contests TC, they'll be right on top of them, but it's actually going to be strange that scouts them out with these Spiderlings here. Darkness, unavailable for 60 seconds. Night Stalker, the Daywalker, at his weakest point. They can see you guys. This is Radiant Vision here. They know you're hanging around in that little area there, but I guess it's just to make sure that you don't have anybody any weaklings on the back line, and the Spiderlings can't pursue their target.
Dire's middle tower is under
We're just going to see some split push play for now during the day. It's the best way to do it for E-Wolves. Since 5-on-5 is becoming less of an option, they'll just rat it out a little bit here and spread the map. They put pressure on the tier 2. They might actually take the top one. They pop the drums, and that should be at least the glyph forced, if not the tower itself falling. Glyph, but where's the rebuttal? It's actually going to be on mid. Van here, caught inside a crush and a quick disconnect from the Shadow Fiend. Alrighty, so we have a little bit of a brawl going on here. The creeps mostly just seem to be watching. They're the spectators in this heroic event. But yeah, you got Slark in the Shadow Blade, and they have a dust available. The Dark Pact will be back up in 4 seconds, but he won't have the Shadow Blade, of course, at that if he uses it. So I think the play is just to dust him, to goo him, and to hope you can lock him down hard enough. Obviously, 2 heroes are committed up top in this process. But no. Just the unpause comes out, and he's too quick on his feet. They'll let him walk away, leaving the tier 2 to fall and wasting a glyph entirely. Sure, they can run down mid, try to take this tier 1, but it's definitely not the same value, even for a team that's playing from behind. Mechanism coming out for the Shadow Fiend. Blind run on the map from Smash. He wants to go on this, but they're not going to get the arrow. And that's obviously an illusion, so they'll just kind of stick together here. And with the mech and Crimson Guard, yeah, I once again think that they have a ton of potential. They have to ignore TC completely. He's got an Aegis. They don't want to fight that. They want to fight the Shadow Fiend, but he gets the Requiem off and just goes to town. They protect him with the Kinetic Static Storm, and that is going to provide an umbrella of safety, which allows them to just get the Requiem and turn the fight, killing off Brood, killing off Night Stalker, and anybody else who chooses to oppose them. That was just gorgeous. The fact that UR has Crimson Guard buff, an extra 250 health per mech, and they can't cast spells anywhere nearby, that just makes it impossible for them to target. They're the one hero they needed to kill. And in fact, Smash goes for a little nice TP play, but with the amplification of damage that provides them vision, he can't get away. He gets glimpsed, and he may be going down. No, they need the crush. They need the blink. 2, 1, and down he'll go with that next hit. In the meantime, though, Slark will find the Shadow Fiend. And I gotta say, I don't know why UR was there. If everybody's occupied in the eastern quadrant of the map, you don't want to be anywhere near top rune. So it looks like Slark stole a double damage rune from him, probably invis. I would say that was most likely what it was. Essentially, UR wanted a double damage rune. Slark was like right here, invised up on it, and not only stole it, but got a kill on top. Still, one kill is worth much more than the other. 520 gold from that Ember Spirit, and a lot of assist gold too. So let's look at items. We've got the Battle Fury in progress for Smash. Vlad's already up for Night Stalker, but I'm really curious to see what he's doing with this VIP booster, and why he's not actually going to be going for the Aghanim's. I mean, there are plenty of good items from the VIP booster. I would expect the Crimson Guard from his own team. But anyways, Buryu going to be picked off down bottom. Just a quick jump there. But maybe a return. Smash is out of remnants here. Has 1 left up. He'll just jump to it if he needs to. In the meantime, Dust comes out on Strange. Bulba getting absolutely destroyed, and TC should run. Yeah, absolutely clobbering the Brood with the massive Warpath stacks he's accumulated. Up top, though, it's going to be Van diving the base and killing off 2. Shadow Fiend once again, and then the Disruptor to follow, thanks to his freshly acquired BKB. Van is just really running all over the map. 7,500 net worth, favoring the Elite Wolves, and now they're going to be pushing on one of the last outer tier towers. At this point, it gets very scary up against the Night Stalker. I would say it'd be scarier if Mystico was going for an Aghanim's, because the Aghanim's gem and having no towers means you cannot leave your base. But he is going for, looks like the Crimson, so not the end of the world. Still, you obviously want to keep as many towers up as possible. Masoku going for a very deep ward here, going for the Moonlight Shadow Observer, and that's actually going to give them the perfect flank on Buryu as well. So they'll clean up another kill. That's 26-9. Elite Wolves really just running a train over Digital Chaos here in game 1 of the best of 3. Shadow Fiend probably needs a BKB at this point. I don't know. There's just so much. There's a massive shopping list in order for the Shadow Fiend to be relevant this game. Bane just trying to tank up with some power treads. Disruptor buying all the support items so they can try to keep vision control. See here, just sentries all over the place for invis heroes, for aggressive wards, and yet still we have 2 great wards coming in from E-Wolves that are not going to be countered. Roshan not going to be spawning for another minute or 4, but we'll keep our eye on that, as that's probably Elite Wolves' cue to go for the high ground. And of course DC did sneak it last time, so maybe that could happen again. That could set back Elite Wolves another 10 minutes. We're going to see TC in a bit of a precarious position. Even with the tank items that he has, it might not be an easy escape for him. He's got IO 2000 right behind him, looking for that kinetic static, but right now it's going to be E-Wolves that go in retreat. Well, got the glimpse back on Slark, and you can block the pounce, but he'll just pop his BKB, and they'll maybe look to turn it here. They need to focus the supports, though. They need to ignore the bristle, and they just can't get to them. So, some miscommunication coming in from Elite Wolves, and I guess no harm, no foul. They lose a BKB, but that's about it.
Never refuse help given.
I'm actually really not a fan of the Crimson Guard on Night Stalker here. I guess I indicated that by comparing it to Aghanims, but I think the Bristleback up against fast-attacking heroes like Slark and, of course, the Broodmother, the Crimson Guard makes so much more sense for Digital Chaos, and Night Stalker, he's already really naturally tanky, already willing to dive very aggressively in these fights. He's never going to be burst down, but he's going for the Crimson over the Axe, and I mean, that's his call, but vision suppression is one thing that Night Stalker gives to a lineup, and that's why you almost always see the Aghanims in this kind of situation. Nice set of spiders coming in for Yawar here. Gonna be bringing him a lot closer to that BKB, but still a ways off. Haste room for TC. A lot of squiggles drawn on the map. And Scotty, as well as a gem, gonna be coming up soon for Slark here. Really not much more to say at the moment. I mean, TC's never going to be vulnerable when he's farming that aggressively because he's a freaking bristleback, but everybody else has to just be playing scared. We have a timing window where it is daytime, but of course Mystico has held on to the darkness, so he's always got that nighttime available if they want to get aggressive. And I think they just throw a Spiderling in the pit, and when they see Roshan has spawned, then they'll go ahead and pop the darkness and just control it for themselves. Go, little spider, go. Oh, there they are. So yeah, they're gonna, as long as they stick around here. Oh, just going for the BOT. This is a free kill on Buryu. Pretty much no matter what he does, you're not gonna get the Nightmare on him there. And they're just gonna leave him to fight against the army. There's, even with a TP, he should be going down here. Oh, so close, the mechanism! He's gonna be able to TP out, but in the meantime, they're losing their tier 3 tower top. They're gonna have to glyph this for sure. They're gonna TP with TC's Bristle and just try to ward them off. Yeah, he's going to go right up against Smash, taking out half his HP, but popping the double damage rune while there's action here on mid. Arrow's not going to connect, but Van is right on top. He just uses the gem to clear out the sentry instead of pursuing for the kills. Alright, so Dire, I don't think know about the Roshan spawn, but of course the Radiant do, with the Spiderlings in the pit. So they're going to go ahead and make their move that way, and TC tries to prevent them from gathering up all around. He gets hit by the arrow though, and they've got to go without TC. That's a huge aspect of this fight. If they can't find a good crush connect, no, they're just going to be picked off on the back line. Buryu, defensive Nightmare, can only do so much. He gets a Fiend's Grip inside the kinetic static onto Van. The Disruptor spell is not doing too much to the BKB hero, but nearly killing him with the Fiend's Grip alone. But he's going to pop the Shadow Dance escape, and Yawar is going to be the one to pay the price here. TC going to have to go reel him in this one, and Misoku, he's just going to TP away. No, that last hit coming through, and a nice bash from Bulba secures a 4-man wipeout from Digital Chaos, with Van the only one surviving through it all, despite the one being closest to death at the onset. He dropped down to, I would say, 300 HP, but Shadow Dance pounce away, no problem at all. Still, look at that fight recap. 3,000 gold going to Digital Chaos. And, of course, hefty sum of experience for the Disruptor. and the Bristleback, the two survivors. Suddenly, Bristleback is going to have an AC in no time at all. He's got it! He's got Assault Cross already! That's actually huge. If they can once again contest the Roche Pit and use that AC effectively, they might still be able to turn this game just based on the sheer net worth of TC, the true carry. I mean, at this point, all you have to do is like build a heart, and you just go on people non-stop. I mean, Hex isn't the worst thing to pick up on a Bristleback in this situation either, since Ember Spirit is somebody you really can't glue down otherwise. But nah, I think DC have mitigated the disadvantages they've had. It won't like obviously make up for everything for the past 27 minutes, but with Shadow Fiend having a BKB, with the Bristleback just being so huge, and with Bulba being so on point with stuns, they actually have a chance, where many people would have ridden them off a while back. So they're going to force the pit. They say, we have our ultimates, we're ready to go. Come at us, boys, and TC can just sit in the pit all day long. At best, they can look for maybe an Aegis snatch from the Ember Spirit, but that's really all you're looking at here. There's no way to actually kill this guy. Oh, but we're going to see maybe Buryu getting caught out. Doesn't have anything but the Fiend's Grip, and that won't do anything here. Owie got it up by Strange. He's going to go right on top of him. And Owie might not get his ultimate off here. We're going to see BKBs popped off. Van getting bashed and not going to get away. He drops the gem in the pit, and they are going to be losing big now. The Roshan went down to the Digital Chaos, picked up by TC once again. They kill off the Slark, and that's a perfect exchange for their two supports. Now they'll look to pursue on Smash, though it will be quite difficult, even with the amp damage on him. He'll just keep running, and Bobo won't be able to stay on top of him. Huge pickup on the Slark there, and just one bash is all you need. As tanky as this guy has gotten with the Eye of Scotty, he's still mortal, and we're seeing it here. The comeback is very possible here. I think we need Ghost Scepters, most likely, on Disruptor and Bane, if we're going to see a legit comeback. But at least the cores are in a position where they can take fights. BKB 10 seconds on Bulba, 9 seconds on Yawar. And I believe the only other one is going to be, yeah, a 6-second BKB on Van. No, Broomla just picked up her 10-second one as well. So might have to use it here. We're going to see, nope, and no amp damage connecting. They do have the gem, but they can't get line of sight. And that is causing some real issues here. Yeah, Bulba can't stay on top of them as much as I'd like to. So we're actually going to see a rotation here. While they're trying to figure out where the Brood is, Ewos are pressing the attack. We're going to see them push forward here. Mystico on the front line. Glimpse back on him and the Fiend's Grip. But Van goes on the back line and goes right onto Owie, ignoring the Fiend's Grip. He just tries to kill off the Disruptor, but he gets nightmared and mech'd and body blocked. Van can't kill him off. Owie will distract them for a very long time while they kill off the Broodmother on top. Now it's a 2-for-1 already, but we see some great hits from Smash on the backside. The Searing Chains and the Sleight of Fist doing lots of damage. But it's not going to be... Oh, it's just barely getting the kill on Bane before he jumps away. Bulba, low HP. Van wants him. Van gets him. In the trees here. You cannot hide from the Slark in the shadows. So, it's going to be a 3-for-3 in the end, obviously. The disadvantaged team is happy to make those even trades, and in fact, will get a Tier 1 tower, perhaps at the cost of a Tier 2. TC probably can't stop this. As scary as he is in terms of damage in the fights, he's not going to scare Smash away from this. He'll just go for the deny, and that will be enough. So yeah, I think Hex could be great on TC, honestly. Like, that's the kind of situation where a Hex would be a game changer. So I think that probably is the... while Heart is usually the normal pickup, I think a Hex would be huge. Goes for a Basher. Abyssal Blade has a very similar contribution. So, we're going to see E-Wolves not having as much control of the map as they probably expected they would. We've still got this Dire Observer Ward hanging around here. We've got the gem that's still... Oh, actually got picked up by Van after he killed off Bulba there in the trees here. So, was able to nab that for himself, and that will be great to just keep control of the map. Wherever he goes, he knows that he's being watched, and he can take care of it with that gem. So current levels here, we've got a level 9 Mirana. Unfortunately, she can't do much this game. In fact, she's running for her life right now. Luckily, no detection against her. But just going for another ward. Honestly, she's using this Moonlight Shadow as like a 140-second cooldown free ward, and he'll probably just put it up on the plateau here, or maybe one of those tricky ones. Yeah, goes for a tricky ward, which since the enemy doesn't have a gem, it's pretty good. Daedalus up for smash. Masoku really playing with fire, but he'll get the TP out. And a butterfly is going to be the next item for Shadow Fiend, but still a little bit ways off. It looks like he's committed to the buyout on it, though. Since there's no MKB on the Slark, it has a better chance of giving him that the first life to be truly effective, rather than giving him a second one with the buyback.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So they're just fishing around with arrows. They will connect with Baryu. This could be the initiation. I think Slark just goes right on top of him here, and could very well just kill him off during the BKB, but it's going to be a smash that they look to pursue. Well, yeah, there's Van on the back line. Nightmare or not, he'll just Dark Pact to kill him off. And there's going to be Bulba with the crush. Mystico goes down quick. Now we're going to see Van with that BKB right on top of Owie. Should be able to kill him off with the help of the Brood, but look at that Requiem damage. Van's BKB is just not long enough, and immediately he's in retreat. They're going and regenning HP. They'll clean up Smash, gets caught out. I think maybe a Bash as well. And that is huge. That is an amazing fight for Digital Chaos. They ends a streak there, I believe. They get the Night Stalker to buy back. Yeah, they just do so much work there, and DC are on the verge of bringing this back completely. I would say the next Roche will secure them I wouldn't say the win, but an advantage in this game for the first time since minute 1. So, since the Bristleback has the AC covered, I'm curious what Slaughter ends up going. I mean, sometimes you see your offlane Slaughter go for like 4 staff. E-Blade would actually be really sweet here. I was talking about the supports who want to go for Ghost Scepter. They're not going to be able to afford it, but I think the Slaughter could give them an E-Blade and keep them in play. Obviously, you're still vulnerable to magical damage, but there's not as much of it around as you'd kind of look for. But he does go for the 4 staff. Doesn't work against the Slark Pounce, but everything else makes it good. So, one real problem for E-Wolves is they just don't have a real frontliner. They have a Night Stalker, but we see him get chewed up so quickly. 1 amp damage, and this guy turns into flypaper. Crimson Guard or not, it doesn't matter. And I gotta say, I feel like they could have just taken fights more carefully with the Ag's Vision, and I think that's going to continue to hurt them throughout the rest of the game. 6,000 net worth favoring Elite Wolves for now, but the winds of change are blowing. Yawar completes his Butterfly, and there's no counter to that in play right now. And I just want to look at Broodmother's items real quick. He went for the Yasha, and I'm like, cool, yeah, Manta for split push, SMY for movement speed, great. Nope, just Yasha. Goes for the Midas BKB Hyperstone. And it looks like he'll go for the counter AC for his team. Abyssal done for Bristleback. Did buy out for it, but how many times has this guy died this game? Twice. He just doesn't die. Not at this stage, unless he's completely isolated. And Van is actually banking 5,100. I think he goes for the MKB here. Normally you'd see an Abyssal, but you're up against that Shadow Fiend. So your 2 options here are A, Silver Edge to break the Bristleback's passive, and you can also take out like the Shadow Fiend aura and stuff like that, but more importantly the Bristleback. Or B, of course you can go for the MKB. So if you're targeting the Shadow Fiend, you want the MKB. If you want to start targeting the Bristleback, Silver Edge is really a good option, because it'll not only, because he doesn't have a BKB, you will not only get that extended break of the Bristleback passive, but you're also going to be reducing the Quill Spray damage that he deals as he's banking it up. So he becomes a real target. He can just focus down and really ignore most of what he's bringing. He's got a lot of armor, but I still think they have the potential damage if they take away that passive. Alright, nighttime coming out. Should be seeing a darkness very shortly. I guess he wants to save it for the fight, though. Just reduce any vision for any jump potential. Obviously, vision is a very important aspect of Glimpse. If you don't see him, you can't do anything. And then might smoke? No, they do actually catch out a ward here with the gem picked up by TC. So yeah, this Bristleback is so farmed that he says, okay, I'll buy the gem for you guys. You just try to catch up wherever you can, and I'll cover some of the more supporty things for now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
$6,500 on the Slark, continuing to bank it. Even a decent chunk of gold on Smash. Normally you'd see like a Lincoln's, but BKB might just be the better option, so you can actually fight against the Disruptor. There are two sets of bashes though. You go BKB, you're gonna get hit by Abyssal Blade, you're gonna be RNG'd by Slardar. It's not gonna be fun. Actually, do you see Slark going for Basher over MKB? Those were not one of the two options I gave, just because I feel like MKB makes so much more sense. I mean, obviously... No, he just goes for the full Abyssal. The reliable disable from the Abyssal active is pretty huge. One thing a lot of people just don't get about Slark is that he has to stay on his target. He doesn't want to be chasing them across the map. He wants them to stay right where they are, and he wants to kill them off. So Pounce, Scotty, Abyssal allow him to stay glued to that target and allow him to build up that Essence Chip. From here, he can probably just go for like BOTs and a Moon Shard, and then go for his last item from there. Oh, we're going to see maybe a fight break out here. It's going to be Buryu that's just being gunned down really quickly, trying to survive. That Crimson Guard helping so much against the spiders. And now it's going to be 2-on-2, core on core. Mystico goes down, Strange along with him, but Buryu is completely isolated and goes down. And the Shadow Fiend was actually picked off here. So they're going to look to pursue onto Van. He's going to be Abyssal up, BKB or not. He's going to turn it and do some massive damage to the Slardar. Gets his distance, gets the HP regen, and now he can look to go on TC. For real. He's got full potential here. They can control him, and they can take him down. They have vision on him thanks to the gem. The Pounce will not connect, and unfortunately, if you can't stay on target, it doesn't matter. Aoi gets clipped by an arrow. That's going to be his death, and that's going to be a 4-for-1. So obviously the big pickup there being the Shadow Fiend. Slark was able to just kill him off with his Abyssal Blade, and apparently didn't get too much RNG evasion out of that Butterfly. So, really nice pickup there from Van coming in from the flank. As always, he's always looking to find the person who doesn't want to be on the front line, and in this case it's not a support, but it's the Shadow Fiend himself. You are just having a really rough time of it.
Roshan has fallen to
Aegis
the
on the Slark. Cheese going to the Ember Spirit for now. And we're actually going to be seeing the MKB come out for Smash, while the Solar Crest is in progression for Mystico. So really, at this point in the game, we're going to be looking into buybacks, who's saving for it. This is where it just becomes so essential to be able to get back into the fight a second time around for just about every hero. And of course, particularly the Shadow Fiend. Right now he has 270 gold surplus. He's going to need it. That's just such a critical aspect of their ability to hold the high ground. No Ghost Scepter still on the digital Chaos supports. They are very vulnerable here. And the Slark is starting to show it. Though, of course, his big target is the Shadow Fiend, but if that evasion makes him a little bit unlucky, it's going to take him a long time to bring the SF down. But they have the Aegis, they want to use it, so they're going to go on TC first and foremost. He's got that Bristleback turned against the E-Wolf, so no problem here. He's just going to keep pushing it out. And actually a really smart move from TC, because, you know, if the creeps don't cross that line, backdoor protection stays up, and they don't really have an option to pursue. So if TC just keeps on hanging around here and just tanking up the creeps so they don't get to the base, honestly, there's limited option for E-Wolves. They've got to push both lanes in simultaneously. Because obviously he can only defend one lane at a time, but this is a kind of a foolproof way of just keeping your base from being sieged. And this will delay E-Wolves a couple minutes on their Aegis. So net worth has swung significantly back in Ewell's favor, higher than it's ever been here, at about 18,000 net worth. Same in experience, actually. It's like the exact same graph. So usually you see at least a little bit of disparity depending on how the jungle's being farmed, how heroes are clumping or spreading. Nope, that's just exactly the same, especially at this stage. Van going to be finding a pounce here on TC. Might be enough incentive to keep going on him. The Bristleback can only do so much here, and he turned towards the Slark. Now he's going to be arrowed and maybe killed off. The Nightmare will hold it, but the Fiend's Grip immediately crippled by the Night Stalker. Now we see UR dropping that ultimate, and Mystico seems an easy pick, but he's going to get Force Staff, glimpse back, and yeah, they'll force out the Bristleback buyback and be happy with that. Bulbo really wants one more on the back of that, but can't find anything. And can't venture out too far away from its allies, being so much faster than the others. So, in the end, yeah, Bristleback losing 1,300 gold to that death there, and now that critical buyback on being unavailable. Though, the Aegis timer has been waited out, I think, pretty successfully. 3.5 minutes have been gone. And it's going to be hard for Ewells to really press the attack within the next 90 seconds. They definitely have the option, but it just feels forced, and you don't want to be impatient in these kinds of tough situations. So more than likely, they're just going to wait out the Aegis and say, we're good. Oh, there's the Silver Edge. There's that value I was looking for. Alright, so right now Van's strategy is no longer to worry about the Shadow Fiend at all. He goes right for the Bristleback, Silver Edge, Abyssal Blade, doesn't matter which way Bristleback is facing, he'll bring him down. Slaughter does have Force Staff, so you probably have to add the pounce to it just to make sure he doesn't get away. And then, yeah, you just focus him down hardcore. At that point, yeah, Bristleback has, 34 armor. You take away 5 of that with the Brood's AC, and you kind of go from there. I think there's a Medallion up. Yeah, not Souther Crest, but Medallion at least. So you put the Medallion on Bristleback too, and I think they have some good kill potential against him. I kind of feel like Bane should be using his disables on the Night Stalker. Like, he's never getting a Fiend's Grip off on a core unless that person's already by themselves anyway. So Buryu he needs to just have a better awareness of the Night Stalker's positioning and needs to disable Mystico perhaps. TC on the front line here, thinks he's tanky, and actually we're going to still see the Shadow Fiend targeted down. We're going to see a bash now, a double Abyssal coming out on 2 years. The Fiend's Grip will be cancelled out by Mystico once again, but Yawar is the main target. Now, oh god, inside the Static Storm Kinetic! Oh, barely killing off this Shadow Fiend with the Sleight of Fist, but they lose 2 cores for it. Smash and Van have fallen, and Mystico is going to be going down right with them. Inside the kinetic field, there's no hope. That's a 3-for-1, and that is with the Aegis not in play. Oh, that timing. The Aegis just losing its duration seconds before Slark's death. Expiring before his eyes. That is brutal. I'm not sure if E-Wolves didn't know about the timing, tried to force that timing right before it became an issue. I don't know. But I think DC are in a much better position now. Looking back over the net worth, the buybacks. We see the Radiant have kind of 3 contingency plans in their buybacks, all cores having it available, but in the meantime, Digital Chaos are taking the map. They've got 40 seconds to claim the outer towers, get some wards up, and
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Even against the gem, you can still get some high ground wards up, high cliff wards up, maybe the one I was talking about earlier there, and just get some intel. I mean, you see right now they've got some along the tree line, hoping the gem doesn't walk by, up on a cliff here. Like, they're getting some control back over the map, and Yawar at least can get his souls back before the next fight. Bristleback going for Satanic, it looks like. That's a pretty huge pickup. A very right-click oriented build. Used to be a lot stronger. Bristleback got nerfed a couple patches back in his base attack time, and you see, like, even this is a fully farmed level 25 Bristleback, and he's only attacking this quickly, and that's because of the base attack time. So, although I love the idea of just going like hard with the SMY Satanic Abyssal, he's only hitting so fast, and he just relies so much on that warpath. Add in a Moonshard, he might be alright, though. Speaking of Moonshard, what's Slark going for next? He has cheese on the courier, getting it out to him, and he'll just hang on to his current items for now. 5-second BKB. Kind of limiting him, but he's still up in the fights, very active. Buryu gets the Ghost Scepter. Bulba Aoi 2000 picked up his as well. So now this really is a turn. I feel like now the Disruptor and the Bane can survive the 4 seconds of the fight, and that's something they couldn't say before. So by just kind of hanging in the back lines, by keeping in mind of who the Night Stalker is using his spells on, and by using the Ghost Scepters against the enemy cores, I think that the Disruptor and Bane should be able to contribute in a real way the next fight. I mean, Mirana might go for like a support Diffusal Blade, but otherwise you're not seeing any way to take care of that Ghost. Oh, we're actually going to see a very interesting position for Van here. He's going to be coming in. We're going to see Buryu lose the Fiend's Grip, and yeah, Shadow Fiend barely getting the Requiem off before going down. Van now pouncing away with the death of the Shadow Fiend, but a glimpse back onto Mystico, and he'll be the casualty once again. Smash coming in, nice slight damage, but doesn't get the crit he needs to finish off Buryu, who is now just running for his life back to the high ground. So, buyback status. We've got Shadow Fiend with it available. But Arrow, can they get the Silver Edge on him? No, it's on cooldown. They'll just have to mad through the passive, and they will be able to bring him down, just barely. Out 2000 caught in the Searing. I don't think they go beyond the kinetic. In fact, they get crushed by Bulba, and Bulba is going to be going down in turn. I think they need to buy back here. They've lost so much already. Buyback from Bulba, buyback from Buryu, and there's you are finally coming into the fight. But if then we get a glimpse back, it's all for naught. And Slark has his BKB back up. He's got BKB, he's got Cheese, and he's got 66 Stolen Agility. He's ready to close this one out hardcore. Buryu, Defensive Nightmare or not, is going down. Van does not get his BKB off, though, until after the Abyssal expires. Trying to kill off the Bane. 2 diebacks, and that might just be it. It's a 4v2 right now, as the Bristleback cannot get back into the game, and Van is just running all over them. GG is called by Bulba. Digital Chaos will lose game number 1. E-Wolves taking it and giving themselves a 1-0 early in this best of 3. The Grass obviously always having the lead, but in some cases it getting a little bit dicey, with DC getting some nice swings forward here about 32 minutes in, and then here just recently at about 44 minutes. Still, E-Wolves are the ones to close it out. The Slurk having some amazing late game prominence. Really good target priority from the Night Stalker as well. Although I'm not the biggest fan of his items, his skill usage was impeccable. Always staying on the Bane, always getting the Fiend's Grip cancel. That's what allows the Slurk to do what Slurk does. So really, really excited to see E-Wolves performing so well in the first game here. And we're going to have to see more tricks coming in from Digital Chaos. They're going to have to find better ways to activate the supports, to make them not a liability. Disruptor is good in the laning phase, but the Bane couldn't do anything against the Night Stalker, Mirana, Ember Spirit trio. And then that just let the Shadow Fiend die over and over and over and over. And then mid to late game, you got like 1 or 2 complete Fiend's Grips off. Everything else was cancelled. So they need to find a way to activate their supports, to get them involved. Aoi was great in the laning stage, and his glimpses were great. But just otherwise not able to do enough. Didn't ever catch the Ember Spirit, for example, in a Static Storm. So that's important stuff. We'll see Digital Chaos, how they want to adjust it here in just a few minutes. But thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze, bringing you guys the solo broadcast here on behalf of Beyond the Summit for the Star Ladder America's match between Digital Chaos and E-Wolves. Game 2 coming right up in just a few minutes.